Here's a quick recap of today's price action. And here are the executions for my previous trade, which I took on a different account, which ended up being break even. But coming into the day, I had a pretty neutral bias overall. You can see that we have lows below and we have an unmitigated gap above. Therefore, all I was really looking for was for either this to be swept to look for the unmitigated gap above, or the vice versa where we hit this gap and use it to take us lower. You can see also that we are respecting a daily bearish fair value gap, and this is our initial displacement that I want to see get retested and used to take us lower. Now, with that being said, right at market open, we really just chop around forever, putting in like 4 different SMTs. If you took a trade in here, I think that is really bad. All we are doing is putting in SMT after SMT after SMT, not taking a DOL, and then we're just generating more above. You really don't know which inversion is going to displace higher to the DOL. As you can see, we do end up getting that right here, where now we have swept internal buy side inside of a 1 hour bearish fair value gap. From here, we end up getting a 30-second inversion. This was my first trade. I have everything in line. I have that internal manipulation leg. We sweep minor buy side inside of a 1 hour bearish. I ended up taking a 30-second inversion right here, and I went break even at this 3-minute unmitigated. The only thing I was hesitant about this trade, which as you can see ended up being a break even trade, which saved me from a loss, is how close to 10 a.m. I am entering. The only thing is everything was in line and I still had confidence in the setup and accepted the risk. The thing is, like, 10 a.m. doesn't really have a reason to manipulate my stop loss unless it's going to be weird. I also have a pretty risk-free trade going break even at this 3-minute unmitigated. And as you can see, 10 a.m. just did want to remanipulate, where we now hit CE of this 1 hour. So now with 10 a.m. remanipulating and giving us additional benefit for a short position, given our 10 a.m. candle has opened, put in its top wick, manipulating into a key point of interest, you can see that we are now provided with distribution lower, where we get a 2-minute inversion. From here, although this wasn't the best close at all, I still had a ton of confidence in the setup. You can see that we have a pretty big rejection wick here. Also, you technically should have waited for the 3-minute. I just took the 2-minute. And as you can see, I sat through a bit of a retrace here. And then as you can see, I ended up hitting full take profit. So the thing is, the only thing bad about this setup, to be completely honest, is the close here. But this close was not enough for me to just fade this setup. I have everything else going in line. I have minor buy side swept. I have 10 a.m. manipulating when the DOL is lower. I have CE of this 1 hour holding. Everything was in line, and just this rejection wick was not enough for me to fade the setup. Yes, I did have to sit through some drawdown, but overall ends up going to full take profit. And then moving on from here, we've already taken a major objective, being these Asia lows on NQ. I do think a Kant is still open, and I do think like this 2-minute inversion here, this Kant was a pretty good play. As you can see, it really just ends up chopping around forever. But if you took that and you missed this, I think it's a pretty good trade. Hopefully that was probably a break-even trade. But overall, I think it's a very good opportunity, and I hope you guys learned something from the video, and drop a comment below and let me know how your trading day was.